Hey guys, Sean Savage here from Streaker Marine in Melbourne. We're out here on another water test, and today we have a 481 Quintrex Hornet Trophy in the Pro Edition. So the Pros, you'll start to see a lot more in the Quintrexes. Doesn't matter if you're looking at the Fishabouts, the Ocean Spirits, the Hornets. They give you two variances now, a standard package and a fully option package. We are finding the fully option package is the most popular, comes with the works, and it's at a very affordable price for the options that you get. The Hornet Pro comes with some really extensive options. It's got a fusion stereo as standard, it's got hydraulic steering as standard, it's got a beautiful rod locker on the passenger side, and I think this year they've really nailed the rod lockers from Quintrex as well. They've done a great job. But the core bones of the boat, the important part's the hull and its performance. And that's where the Hornets really shine. You know, we're in a choppy sort of condition today. There's a slight chop at Port Phillip Bay. And it's the sort of stuff you'll see at like Lake Eildon as an example. If you're from Melbourne, you'll be coming home in that breezy sort of choppy day through the lake, and you'll find this thing will go faster, it'll be softer and drier than anything else I've ever been on in the market. So ride quality wise, if we're doing inland lakes, bays, estuaries, all that sort of gear, this boat gives you flexibility. The awesome part of the Hornets is their stability. So front and rear casting platforms, the boats don't move. So whenever you're out fishing, you've got 2 to 3 people inside the boat, you can move around on the boat, and it's extremely stable. And as people move, you really don't feel it. Just playing with the Minn Kota here for a minute to keep us in the right spot. The front casting platform this year is a little bit deeper than normal, so the boat is a little bit taller. It's great for kids especially, but it does give us options as well to run things like stereos, Anderson plugs, lights a lot easier over the front casting platform. So it's something our fit out team have really enjoyed. At the back here, another fantastic rear casting platform, incredibly stable. I keep preaching the same things, but these are the important parts in a boat like this. We want it to be stable, we want it to be efficient, and we want the boat to ride well. That's what these Quintrex Hornets really do well, is the basics. At the back here, we've got a burley bucket, hydraulic steering, and the rear telescopic ladder that are all standard with the Pro Edition. But again, I can be at the back of the boat, my feet aren't wet, the boat hasn't moved. The buoyancy of this boat is incredibly good, and it also doesn't draft a lot of water under the hull, so you can get in those shallow entry points. Plenty of storage in the Hornets this year. The rear live bait tank at the back, storage either side, and then we also have our rod locker. So with the rod locker, this year they put a little spring on there. It's a simple thing, but it just keeps the rod locker upright with the hinge. It's got a fully lined carpet insert with some rod savers in there as well. So you'll get somewhere between sort of 2 to maybe 6 rods as a minimum and maximum inside the rod locker this year. But it is actually really well laid out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in the boat, give it a good run, go through some performance figures, go through what you would expect with the Yamaha 115 horsepower 4-stroke. Just to finish with the Yamaha, you'll see it's the pearl white with this particular motor. It comes in the grey or the white. The white just looks so sharp. While you're there, what we're going to do is turn the thing on. If you haven't had a Yamaha 4-stroke before, you're going to find amazing efficiency, dead quiet, no smoke, no fumes, no emissions, the greatest resale value on the market. You really can't go wrong if you're going to go with a Yamaha Quintrex package. You really are buying the best of everything. So let's go prove that. We'll take it out in the water and see what she's got. Okay, so now we're inside the boat. We'll go through a bit more detail on what we have inside these. We've got 3 openings on the front casting platform at the rear and 1 forward on the front casting platform. So open, open, open. Right now what we have is our twin hardcore AGM batteries. We've got our battery charger system, which is inbuilt, and then we'll have a circuit breaker just here, which is for the Minn Kota to turn on and off. So once the customer gets home, he can just chug in his normal house power and charge the batteries back up as an independent system. But there's plenty of room in this rear side of the front casting platform. Forward of that will be our anchor locker. So if you are going to do a bit of bay work, you can leave the anchor in there. If you're not, it's another storage compartment. We've got a retractable cleat at the front with an anchor cheek plate at the front there with a bow roller. Got the Minn Kota with the bow mount thruster plate, the Humminbirds on the ram bracket, which was worked fantastic, hasn't really moved whatsoever. As we work back here, we've got our rod locker. So with the rod locker, again, we've got a spring. They've got the rod savers in here. But one thing they have done well this year, which we've normally had to do at the dealership, is at the front where the tip of the rods go, they've cut out that bulkhead there so we can get those bigger rods and the tips of the rods straight through directly from the factory, which is fantastic. We have storage, our live bait tank, which we just had running a moment ago. It's a big, deep live bait tank with rounded edges. We have a storage compartment on the port side, and then we also have our twin battery system, our twin battery switch, and our water separator on the starboard side. So all in all, this boat has 4 batteries on board, 2 house batteries that'll run the sounders and the all the lighting and the motor, etc. And because it's an 80-pound 24-volt Minn Kota, it has the 2 batteries for the Minn Kota itself. As we work our way over to the dash, so again, we've spoken about it, but hydraulic steering with tilt steering, so we can adjust the tilt. Our ignition, Fusion stereo, which is what they call an N, a networking one. So we can network that to your desired fish finder and have it all linked together. The new Yamaha CL5 gauge, which is a touchscreen color. It's got idle adjustment, so we can change the RPM as we're trolling along. We've got our USB port, which we're actually using at the moment. Our Humminbird sounder. Something special that we do at Streaker Marine is we like to personalize the boat with a plaque. So you can see there that it's got a plaque on it, and it's going to go to a happy family. They're going to look after it, which is awesome. Down here we have a storage compartment. So we've got a nice storage compartment in there. It's where I got my wallet and car keys, etc. Which works great. So we are currently idling at 1,000 RPM, doing 7.4 kilometers an hour, and our economy, which means how many kilometers would travel for every litre, is currently 3.3. So if we put 10 litres of fuel in the boat and sat at this speed, we would go 33 kilometres in distance. So it is a bit choppy, which is great. We'll get an opportunity to show you how these Hornets perform in their choppier conditions. We're going to accelerate a little bit and get it up on the plane and get it going. One thing we're looking at while it planes is that it planes effortlessly and it planes flat. It doesn't take a lot of energy or horsepower to get up on the plane and get going. And you know, I'm just sort of sitting behind the wheel. I really don't have to do a lot yet. So we find that once we're doing that 3.5 to 4,000 RPM, that's when we'll give the boat a little bit more trim, which we've just done. We're sitting at 3,700 RPM at the moment, doing 38 kilometers an hour, and we're still getting 2.6 kilometers per litre. Fantastic cruising range. Again, basically you're getting 2.5 times your fuel capacity in distance. So if you've got a 100-litre fuel tank, you're going to get 260 kilometers in distance at this rev range. This will be where you'll find most of your time. We'll go a bit quicker. We'll go to 4,500 RPM, a little bit more trim. 51 kilometers an hour, 2.5 kilometers per litre still, which is just incredible. But the boat hasn't changed its balance or its characteristics. It's still very level in the water. There's no water noise under our feet. It's extremely quiet. It's riding over this chop exceptionally well. But the cameraman's going to hang on. We're going to turn it in. Nice and tight. Trim it down a little bit. The boat's turning exceptionally level. It's not leaning over while we turn. It's not cavitating. It's not getting broached around by the waves, which is awesome. So now we're going to go into the swell. Typically would make the boat a little bit wetter and ride a little bit harder. And we're also going to go in that higher rev range. So this is 4,000 RPM. We'll give it a little bit more trim again. We're going to go to 5,000. 57 kilometers an hour, 5,300 RPM, 1.8 kilometers per litre. So now we'll drop the hammer, maximum RPM. RPM, 64 kilometers an hour at 1.5 kilometers per litre, which is just amazing. We'll slow it back down. Back down to that 3,800 RPM. I think that's where we'll find most of our time. So you can see by the chop here, it's not exactly a flat day. There's a bit of chop coming through the bay. The boat had absolutely no dramas whatsoever from 30 kilometers an hour to 65 kilometers an hour. It really didn't change its style or its balance or anything. All we did was give the boat a little bit of trim and it reacted to it fantastic. So the last test is just the acceleration test. So from idle to, let's say, maximum RPM for a moment, just for the first sort of 10 seconds. So just great power. Awesome. So we're already doing 5,000 RPM at 44 kilometers an hour. So the Yamaha 115 horsepower 4-stroke is so well equipped to the 481 Hornet. Does everything right. Sometimes I don't fault these boats because I struggle to find a fault, and for what we went through then, it really is an awesome package, and there's nothing that really sticks out that I think they could have done better. I think they've really nailed it this year. So if you are looking for a Quintrex Hornet, we'd love to help you. Come down the Streaker Marine, contact us through the comments or through our website, and we'll go through the full range with you. Thank you for watching.